we globally, we're going to run out of fresh water. We're going to run out of agricultural land. We're going to run out of soil health. We are going to run out of biodiversity. We're going to be lacking energy. And we'll run out of people to work in factories to make these things. That's the stark reality of what will happen if we don't take any action. And just to unpack that a little bit, running out of water, well, what does that mean? Well, clearly for individuals, that it means that we'll die very quickly without fresh water. But in terms of the industry, we've already seen the consequences of water shortages in Tirupur in India. Tirupur in India, some years ago, they shut down all of the dye houses in that region because they were extracting too much water and creating too much effluent, poisoning whatever watercourses were left. Government shut down those industries. So essentially what has happened in that situation is a business that's relying on dye houses in Tirupur all of a sudden can't get the fabric dyed, all of a sudden you can't have the colours that you want, all of a sudden you don't have product on the shelves, and if you haven't got product on the shelves, you can't make any money. So that's something that's already happened. And what we're going to see is more and more of that happening across more and more dimensions of the industry. So reduction in land use, reduction in biodiversity, reduction in soil health means that we can't grow as much cotton. And the cotton that is being grown is going to be 2 times as expensive or even 4 times as expensive. So this idea that the economics of sustainability are going to become more and more important as we get more and more shortages across a whole range of commodities that the industry is reliant on. And that is the worst case scenario. So those businesses that are working out how they can be more efficient, how they can be more sustainable, how their suppliers can be more sustainable, are more likely to have the materials that they need to make the product to sell at a price point that is acceptable to the consumers. That is the stark reality of not doing anything.
I think we don't, like I started saying in the beginning, I don't think it's a matter of a choice whether or not we are going to be sustainable. It's something that is going to be required as brushing our teeth every morning. It's something that we are going to take into measurement from all angles of our lives, from every aspect we can think of and how we measure things. It's a responsibility from government, it's a responsibility from people with the highest power, it's a responsibility for you, me, everyone, from our grandparents' generations to all the generations that's being born. It's a responsibility for everyone, and nobody has an excuse anymore to not do anything.
Yeah, I agree with you both, really. I just think it's not going to be a question of if, it just is. And the businesses that can't fulfill that and work within that framework, there won't be businesses.
So we're at the end of the debate. There's just one final quote, and I think I'll wrap up on that. And if anyone has anything to add on this, you can definitely share. So for CEOs and CFOs, having a sustainability strategy that is now a business imperative that will determine the long-term success of their business, irrespective of whether consumers are green or not. So we've said that it's everybody's responsibility, but this quote says that obviously as a business person, even if the consumers are not green, that it is your responsibility to do that. And I put that quote in there because I actually agree with that obviously as a business, you're producing a product, and you mentioned before supply and demand. By 2020, I can't remember the exact figure, but I think I put it in my marketing for the debate. I think it's like, I'm not going to say the figure, it's in the millions, billions. Consumerism is growing. E-commerce is giving more opportunity for consumerism. So we're not facing a situation that would say there's no demand. There's a bigger demand. There's bigger opportunities to supply more products to more people. So knowing that based on this conversation, your business is there to meet the demand. So how are you going to do that? That is what you need to think about as a business person. That's how I would conclude the debate. And my personal perspective is looking at your brand message, looking at transparency, putting that out there, and allowing consumers to decide to choose you over other products and services. And if you're making the right choices in your business and you're putting that forward to the consumers to make the right choices, then that would be the way forward, just from my perspective. Does anyone have anything to add to that?
Just as a little game to play, so to lighten the mood a little bit, I know it's depressed everyone with this, but this idea of habit. Habit is incredibly powerful. And if you want to see how powerful it is, if you live with someone, go into your kitchen and in one corner of your kitchen there'll be the bin, yeah, or the kettle. Find something that you use every day and move it to the opposite corner of the kitchen. And what you'll get to see is how powerful habits are. Within minutes, the person that you live with will hate you because the habit of going to there is just disappeared. And this is one of the key points about changing consumer behaviour, is this idea of habit. This is one of the challenges that we have of how we break this fashion habit that we have. And it's actually not just about consumers. It's about buyers. It's about designers. It's about the whole system of habit. This is the way we've always done it. I don't know, I've got a habit, carry on doing it. So there's a really interesting aspect about habit. And like I say, if you want that person that you're living with to move out, start messing with their brain and move the bin around, move the kettle around. It screws them up really badly.